So what if there was a secret, a kind of timeless guide to living a really meaningful moral life? Not some new fad, but wisdom that's literally thousands of years old. Well, today we're going to unlock that secret, and we're going to do it by diving into a text that laid it all out nearly 100 years ago.
So, our guide for this journey is this fascinating book from 1926 called Dharma-karma-rahasya, which pretty much translates to The Secret of Dharma and Karma. And its whole purpose was to be a super clear, simple breakdown of the core principles of Hindu morals, to make these ancient concepts easy for anyone to grasp. And that really brings us right to the heart of it, to the big question we're going to tackle. What exactly is Dharma? I mean, we hear the word thrown around a lot, but is it just about religion? Or is it pointing to something way, way deeper? Maybe even a universal code for all of us? Let's find out.
All right, so to get to that answer, we have to start with the essence of the word itself. Because look, to really get what Dharma is, you have to go beyond a simple one-word translation. We've got to look at what it fundamentally means.
And what's so cool about this old text is how it just gets right to it. I mean, right on the very first page, the author doesn't waste any time with a long, flowery intro. Nope, they jump straight into defining the core concept. This is where it all begins.
And here it is, the big definition. The word dharma comes from a root that means to hold or to sustain. So you see, it's not just a list of rules. It's the underlying principle that holds everything together. It's like the cosmic glue, the natural law that keeps the entire universe in balance and harmony.
The book gives this brilliant analogy to make it all click. Think about the human body for a second. You've got the heart, the lungs, the brain. They all do different jobs, right? But they work together in perfect cooperation. I mean, can you imagine if they all just acted selfishly? The whole body would just collapse. And that's a perfect picture of Dharma. It's that principle of working together for the good of the entire system. Okay, so if Dharma is this grand cosmic principle, how in the world does that apply to us as individuals? Well, the text explains that it shows up in our lives as two very distinct paths of duty. So the book breaks Dharma down into these two big categories. Over on the left, you have Sadhan Dharma. Think of these as the universal duties, the ethical principles that apply to every single person. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, or when you live. Then on the right, you have Vishesh Dharma, which are the specific duties. These are totally contextual. They're tied to your role in society, your job, your family, your stage of life. Now, for the rest of our time here, we're going to focus in on Sadhan Dharma, because this is really the heart of the matter. This is the universal moral code that connects every single one of us. And according to the text, this universal Dharma is basically built on two giant pillars. The first one is ahimsa, which we often translate as nonviolence. And the second one is paropkar, or beneficence, which is the active desire to do good for other people. Let's take a closer look at ahimsa. It's so much more than just, not getting into a fistfight. It's this all-encompassing principle of not causing harm. And that means not causing injury with your actions, with your words, or even with your thoughts. It's about cultivating this deep sense of nonviolence in every single part of your being. And paropkar, well, that's the other side of the coin. So if ahimsa is about restraint, about not causing harm, then paropkar is about jumping in and being proactive. It's the active principle of doing good, of being helpful, and really dedicating yourself to the welfare of others and the whole of society. One is about avoiding the bad, the other is about creating the good. Okay, so we've got these two huge principles, but how do we actually live them? How do we put them into practice? Well, the text gives us a guide, a sort of inner toolkit, in the form of 10 specific virtues laid out by the ancient lawgiver Manu. And this toolkit is made up of these 10 core virtues. As you can see, it's a pretty complete roadmap for building your character. Now, we're not going to go through all 10, but just to give you a feel for how deep they are, let's zoom in on 3 really key examples. A huge one is driti, or fortitude. This is all about emotional and mental toughness. It's the ability to stay patient, to stay firm and calm, whether you're having an amazing day or going through a really tough time. It's that inner strength that just keeps you balanced. Building on that, we have kshama, or forgiveness. The text actually describes this as something even more profound than nonviolence. It's not just about not fighting back. It's the power to completely let go of resentment and all that bad blood, which frees the other person, sure, but more importantly, it frees you. And finally, let's look at dham, Where's self-control? This one is all about becoming the master of your own mind. It's the practice of protecting your thoughts from getting hijacked by all those harmful cravings and impulses so that you can act with real intention and clarity. So we've explored what Dharma means, we've looked at its universal principles, and the virtues that help us live it out, which brings us all the way back to the beginning, to the secret that was promised in the book's title.
And this is the crucial point. After all this learning, after understanding all these incredible concepts, the text reveals that the real secret of Dharma isn't found in knowing any of this stuff. It's not some academic subject. The secret is practice. That's it. It's the conscious, consistent, moment-to-moment decision to apply these principles in your own life. Dharma is something you do. It's not something you just know. It has to be lived and breathed and acted on. That is the secret.
And that just leaves us with one final thought to take away. As you look at all this ancient wisdom, think about your own life, right here, right now. In our crazy, fast-paced, always-changing world, which one of these timeless virtues, fortitude, forgiveness, truth, self-control, which one matters the most to you? Because the answer to that question is where your practice begins.